Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Nishmas, Mordechai. Hayoim, Shloishim, Yoim, Sheheim, Arba'ah, Shavuos, Ushnei, Yomim, Ba'omer. Rabbi said we have with us Per Schuster, he said, from Flatbush, Shalom Aleichem. And we have the one and only Yossi Klein. Rabbi said we could all take a chizuk from Yossi Klein, who's started out as a plumber. He has a plumbing company. And on the side, in his schos, we're zaycha to 3 major things this year. 3. On his own, he did the Shabbaton. He came to me when I was in New York and he said, I want to meet with you. He drove an hour each way just to ask me, could I go ahead with the Shabbaton that I was thinking about? I don't want to ask too many people because I know I'm going to get a no from this one and think of it. Do you give me rishos? I said, yes. I said, what do you know about Shabbatons? Nothing. Have you ever made a chasen in your life? No. So what do you know? I know plumbing. He took whatever he knows. He went and he did a Shabbaton, the nicest Shabbos I ever had in my life. And then he said, listen, you're thinking about doing a fundraiser or a charity thing. Let's do it. So he went and he did it on his own. At the Shabbaton, I said, look, we had this thing. We spent a lot of time and money on it. The tablet, the kosher tablet. And it stuck. There's a Mr. Anonymous who put many, many hours, hundreds of hours into it. He developed a program, but it wasn't ready yet. Like, you can still break into it if you're really good. The kosher tablet basically is a simple device. There's one, I think, that costs about $99. And it downloads the shir automatically if you have internet. And it just it has the whole, from beginning of Shas till here. And every day just uploads it automatically, and you cannot see anything else but the shir. Maybe we're going to do a few other things, siddur, ways, that kind of thing. But right now, that's what it has. And it was very, very complicated. Hundreds of hours put in by Avremi Cohen and Yossi Klein. Today, officially, we're launching the tablet at MDY merch. I think the first one, I think there's one that's $100, one's a little bit more. There's a simple one. Shlomo Forchheim, remember him? He used to come every single day. Bacher every single day would come here, and he went to yeshiva in Haifa? Chadera maybe. And it's perfect. His Rosh Yeshiva called me up and said, could I please have one of these devices for him? I can't let him, but on this device I'll let him do it. So it's great for kids in camp, great for people in yeshiva, great for Yungalite. You have to have access to internet at some point during the day. It uploads automatically. You want to show me what it looks like? You have something? MDYmerch.com. It's officially online. It's a big achievement. It took a lot. The tech stuff, a lot of. So, with that being said, hi. No, I don't think you can watch Zoom. It's afterwards. It has the whole Shas and afterwards. I don't think you can do Zoom. Could you do Zoom on it, Yossi? He's asking if you can do Zoom on it. I don't think you could do Zoom on it. I don't know. I didn't know. You can do Zoom. Great question, Yaakov. No, it's going to cost $100. I know what your next question is. No, we're not giving it out to the island for free. Anybody here in the room? No, that's not. I know. I'm just kidding. You know what? Free for you, free for everybody. Maybe Shlomo Forchheim. We'll give him one, huh? I just did a sponsorship. Maybe we'll give you also because he comes every day from Yerushalayim. Maybe we could hook him up. I just did a sponsorship for the morning full daf shir for 180. No, that's not what I wanted to say here. Oh, in honor of my dear friend, Yoel Avrum Samet, who does the shir daily and constantly follows up with me and discusses the shir. On the joyous occasion, he follows up with the shir every day. On the joyous occasion of his oldest son's engagement, may he continue to be blessed with abundant Yiddish and nachas and joyously celebrate many simchas gesundheit. Additionally, in celebration of my daughter Chana Malki's 2nd birthday, thank you, Simon Strulowitz. So that's it. We don't have emails for today because we did the announcement of the tablet, the kosher tablet. The Masechta is sponsored by unanimous with the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Chodesh, Nishmas, Zechraya ben Moshe, Nishmas, Chaya bas Yosef, Mordechai Sapoznick, Lezachar Nishmas, his great grandfather Rabbi Yitzchok Blumenreich, Horav Yitzchok Ben R Yisroel Gershon, Zechariah may neshama have an Aliyah. Maybe I'll make Yosef, my brother Yitzy, who carries his name, the entire mishpacha and all of Klal Yisroel. Parnas Hayoim, Yosef Ezra, Lezachar Nishmas, Yehosua Ben Shimon Dov, may his neshama have an Aliyah. Brain intact, unleash your full potential. Should be Zochet in Kedusha and tremendous success in all my endeavors. Parnas Hayoim, Simon Strulowitz. We had this in honor of my dear friend Yoel Avrum Samet on the joyous occasion of his oldest son's engagement. Rabbi Isai, another amazing daf of Agadita. Many stories here. Some of them are very, very familiar to us. Many different lessons that can be learned and brought into our own lives if we just put our mind to it. We're holding on the last line of Amud Pei Dalet Amud Beis on the bottom. V'hainu. So, what happened was we had, just to remind the Olam, we had Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, who's Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Rebbe's father. Rebbe Cholash Daite, everything he said, Rebbe Lazar, Reb Shimon, Rebbe Lazar, the son of Reb Shimon by Yochai, would knock it, would tell him, he would anticipate the question and say such silly questions, leave on the side. He was very demoralized, and he went to his father, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. This is Rebbe, the Rebbe who wrote all the Mishnais. And his father, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, says, "Listen, it's not a chachma. You know who Reb Lazar, Reb Shimon's father is? He's Reb Shimon bar Yochai. I'm not Reb Shimon bar Yochai. So he's a lion, the son of a lion. So he's greater than you in Torah. You're a lion. Yes, you're a lion, but you're the son of a fox. I'm just a fox." So says the Gemara, that's tremendous anava. There's three great anavim. Abba. This is what Rebbe says. Rebbe's talking about Reb Shimon Gamliel, my father, because he called himself a fox. Ubnei Beseiro, and the sons of Beseiro, the Yonas son, the famous Yonas son, the son of Ben Shaul the king. Reb Shimon Gamliel Hadam Maron. We just said that he called himself a fox. Bnei Beseiro Hadamar Ra, the Hadamar Mar, Hoishivu Beroish Uminu Lenasi Aliyah. The Sanhedrin, the head of the Sanhedrin, Bnei Beseiro, they couldn't come up with the halacha of Pesach, Korban Pesach. Is it Doicha Shabbos? That year was Erev Shabbos. Does the Korban Pesach push off Shabbos? They had no idea. He said, maybe ask this person, his name is Hillel. So they asked him. He said, yeah, it pushes off Shabbos. In fact, he brought a bunch of rayas. They realized this person really knows his stuff. They said, you know what? Could you be the Nasi? We are the Nasi. We want you to be the Nasi. That's anava. Yonasan ben Shaul, the Karmel Leila David, Yonasan told his best friend David, you should be the king. I'll be second in command. Now he's the son of the king. He should be the king, Yonasan. Why is he giving it away? Says the Gemara, huh? You sure? Okay, fine. Erev Pesach was Shabbos, not Erev Shabbos. Mimai, Dilma Yonasan ben Shaul, the Chaza, the Gerir Alma Basa David. Why is that anava for giving over the kingdom to David? He saw that everyone is going with David. It would be an uphill battle to fight David at this point. Let me just do it mentionally, and I'll say, listen, you be the king, and I'll be second. When Hillel proved himself, he knows the halacha that Pesach fell out on Shabbos. Erev Pesach fell out on Shabbos. They realized that this person is greater than them, and therefore he should be the Nasi. So that's not a great raya. Says the Gemara, El Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Vaday Ambeson Hava, on the fact that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel called himself, and he was a Nasi, called himself a Shul, that's another. Omar Rebbe. So we're going back that Rebbe wanted to marry Rebbe Lazar, Rebbe Shimon's wife, and she told him, no way, a kli that nishtamish b'kodesh, nishtamish b'chol, you're just chol compared to my husband. And he said, why? He said, I understand the Torah part, but what about Maisim? And she said, oh, Maisim also. He's greater than you in Maisim because he took upon himself Yisurim. So what does he answer? Omar Rebbe, Chavivin Yisurim. I love Yisurim. Chabal aleit, leiser shnei. We don't know what touches different people, but I received a number of messages about the importance of Yisurim. People have a lot of Yisurim, and they loved yesterday's sugya about how Yisurim are mechaper and Yisurim are my friend. You call them my friend. You call them Chaviv and Yisurim. So pay attention to these two words right here. Kabel alei. He accepted upon himself 13 years of Yisurim. It seems like he asked for the Yisurim. Shiz b'tzmirta. He had a stone in his urinary tract. In other words, a lot of pain. Ushva, 6 years. Ushva b'tzaprina. And he had some sores in his mouth. Terrible pain. Every time he ate and spoke, pain. V'amrila, sheva b'tzmirta was the opposite. It was 7 of the urinary tract infection or whatever it was. V'shis b'tzaprina and 6. So it was 13 years total. Says the Gemara, he had a tremendous amount of pain. Harayi, the Bay, Rebbe, have atir, the guy that took care of Rebbe's horses. Rebbe is the wealthiest man in the generation. The one that took care of the horses, atir mishover malka. He was wealthier than shover malka. Why? So we learn all Taisusin when possible. Hava atir mishover malka, perush, mizel behem meisav sherebi. They made a deal. You take care of my horses, you get all the manure. That the manure, the fertilizer of Yitzchok was more valuable, was more valuable than gold and silver of Avimelech. This person made a tremendous amount of money. When he would give the food to the animals, they made so much noise, tens of thousands of animals eating and getting excited over the food, made tremendous amount of noise. You'd hear 3 mil away. So he had a trick. Rebbe, with his infection, whatever, the stone, in a tremendous amount of pain, screaming in agony. He didn't want people to hear it. He wanted to drown out the sound. So he made sure that the animals ate at the same exact time that Rebbe went to the Beis HaKisei. And even so, Rebbe's screaming overcame the sound of the animals. You heard it on the ocean. And even so, even though he had such Yisurim, the Rebbe Lezachar, Rebbe Shimon, adifim the Rebbe. The ones of Rebbe Lezachar are considered better than those of Rebbe. Dilu Rebbe Lezachar, Rebbe Shimon, mahavabo umahavah. They came from love and they went with love. The Rebbe, those of Rebbe, is because of a story that happened. It was for him. And through a story they went. So this is a very famous story. What happened? There was a calf, a young calf. They wanted to shech. The calf went and hid under the cloak of Rebbe here, something like this. Basically, it wanted to survive the shechita. The kabachi, and the calf cried. What does that mean? Omalei zil lekachni tzarta. What are you doing here? Go. You need to be shechted. Amri. So they said in Shamayim, hoya v'loikum merachim leisu alei yisurim. Since he doesn't have rachmanis, there's a little bit of achzarius here, telling an animal, go get shechted. Let's give him yisurim. So we have to understand exactly. I mean, it's an animal. It's supposed to be, but he spoke in such a way. The different svarim, like I saw in the Ben Yehoyada, he says we're talking about a gilgul. It was a Yiddish neshama that needed a kapara, and he was crying to him. No, let me. Kids are a certain achzarias. How did they go? She was sweeping the floor. There was baby weasels here. Swept them right out of the house. He told her, leave the weasels alone. Because Baruch has Rahmanas on all his creations, including the weasels. It wasn't mice, roaches, that sort of thing, get rid of. But the weasels, have rachmanas, let them chill in the house a little bit. What's the big deal? A couple of weasels. Amri, so he said, Shamayim hoyel merachim. Since he showed rachmanas now, after 13 years, nerachim alei, let's have rachmanas on him. Says Gemara Kulishnei Yisur the Rebbe Lazar Leishacha Vinish B'lei Zimnei. All those years the Rebbe Lazar had Yisurim. Nobody died early. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom.
What's your name?
Yaakov Nachumson.
Shalom Aleichem. From?
Los Angeles.
Ah. No, you're on the group and everything?
You got me in.
Hello. Behind the scenes, quiet, still hate. Not for nothing were you on the thumbnail of 2 days ago Shir or whatever it was. Ah, it's the Daf of Hillel. Very nice. Yeah. Hey, you Hanov. Hey, you. Okay. It's machlokes whether you're an Hanov or not. Okay. Listen to this pshat. Tell me who says it. What's the difference between ahava and maisa? Zechariah, ahava means that Rebbe Lazar took upon himself the Yisurim just for his love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He had no reason, he had no chet. He thought maybe, perhaps, he might have killed all those years that he's working for the king, bringing thieves. Maybe one of them was innocent. And what if they weren't? What if they were all Rishaim? So all the Yisurim he took upon himself was out of pure love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed him, don't worry about it. You didn't kill anybody. Look, not a single person is going to die early all through those years that you have Yisurim, to show that nobody died in vain. Everybody deserved to die. So that's pure ahava. Whereas Rebbe, he needed a kapara. He did something wrong. Klal Yisroel, he was akzari. So that's a different type of Yisurim. Maskim? No, not so much. Okay. I forgot who says, one of the Achronim just explains. The question is, it says, Kabel Alei. Rebbe accepted upon himself Yisurim, and then it says, they gave it to him. What happened? He said, I want Yisurim for 13 years. Chavivin. Oh, Yishkoyer, but you were here last night, so that doesn't count. That's what I said last night. But it's good. Oh, Baruch Shekivanta, why? Unbelievable. The guy's listening. It's unbelievable. So, it says that Rebbe wanted Yisurim like Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Lazar, he accepted upon himself Yisurim, but he told him to go away in the day so he could learn Torah. So Rebbe said, I want those kind of Yisurim. So they gave him those Yisurim with control. But once he did the Maisa, once he said he was Achzor to the animal, then he lost his control over it. Yeah, again, you can see, you can make a kavachaymer, you have to be merachim on a calf, you have to be merachim on weasels, on raccoons, all these animals, certainly on human beings that are Yidden and human beings that are not Yidden. Zog the Gemara. Kulu, Shnei, and Rachmanis and YY. From now on, I'll be nice to you. From this point on. Zog the Gemara. Kulu, Shnei, Yisur, the Rebbe Lazar, Leishachiv, Inish, B'lei Zimnei. All those years that he had Yisurim, nobody died early, before their time. In other words, a person doesn't have Avery, he could die early. No, that didn't happen. The world, for 13 years, didn't need rain. The day that it rained is terrible, especially in those days. They didn't have the drainage that we have today. They had mud, and it was a balagan. You couldn't go to work. You couldn't ride anywhere with your donkey, nothing. If not for the fact that we really need rain. It's interesting. What do you mean if the world didn't need rain? The world does need rain. The reason why there's rain is because we need it. But Lu Yitzy, we don't need it. Like Avodah Zarah, sort of. Then Rabbanan would have davened and to be mevatel because it's such a nuisance. In Eretz Yisrael, it's not a nuisance. Every time it rains there, people are so excited. It's geshmak, and the Kinneret went up another centimeter and this. But in America or Chutz La'aretz, it rains in London. Oy vavoy. It's actually doesn't rain like 3-4 days out of the year or something. Like it's like.
See, the difference between the summer and winter is in the summer the rain is a bit warmer.
The difference between summer and winter, the rain in the summer is warmer. I'm just chazering because people say they don't hear the jokes. They hear people laughing at the chazer, especially if he's sitting all the way there. Here we have a picture of that if you want to know what it means. When they would pluck a radish out of the ground, there would be like a well full of water underneath. In other words, there's enough water in the world. Ikla Rebbe, last year there was Reb Shimon. Over here you see the idea of going to get more people to do the daf, getting people to Torah, bringing people to Yiddishkeit, working on people to become Bali Tshuva. Here in this Gemara, Ikla Rebbe last year there was Reb Shimon. Rebbe went searching like he had nothing better to do. He was Galadar, wealthiest person, had a tremendous yeshiva with thousands of talmidim. He's going to search for one individual. Does Rebbe Elazar ben Reb Shimon have a son? In other words, does Reb Shimon Bar Yochai have a grandson? Tzaddik, you guessed. I don't know what your name is. Shalom Aleichem, come on in. Have a seat. What?
The weather's fine.
The weather's fine when you're here. Come. Orlo Yeshlei Ben. He does have a son, but he's a Rasha. He's a Balavera. Even a Zaina that takes a lot of money, she pays him for Navera. Not Shnayim, Shmoina. Asiyeh, so they bring him Asmechei Berebi. He says, you know what? I'm going to call you Rabbi right now. Hashem Ma'asid, maybe. You're going to become a Rav. Vashlemei, Rabbi Shimon ben Isi ben Lekoina Achois Dime. He gave him over. Vashlemei. To who? To Rabbi Shimon ben Isi ben Lekoina Achois Dime. He gave him over to his uncle. You're in charge of him now. I want to go back home. I want my mommy. We're going to make you a chacham. The gulsa, the hava parsalach. We're going to put a nice clothing of gold. The Rebbe karlach, and then everybody's going to call you Rebbe. What's wrong with you? You want to go home? Mumi. It's a shvua. Azuvada. I left that alone. Forget it. I'm done. I'm never going home. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to become a Talmud Chacham. He got the loss of Yosef b'mesifta the Rebbe. You hear what's going on here, Rabbi? So you don't have what's going on here. We have a guy from Manchester. We have a guy from Flatbush and a guy from Los Angeles who have never been here in this base measures. First time. They come from around the world. Kibbutz Galios. Unbelievable. We have Yossi from Muncie here. He's been here a few times. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Even Aliyah. Yeah, I'm here for a little. Zechariah. I noticed when you came in today. You should be. He got also Yosef Mesifta the Rebbe. He grew up. He's sitting in the yeshiva of Rebbe. Shamal Kali Rebbe noticed his voice. Omar Hokolo Domel Kali the Rebbe Elazar ben Reb Shimon. That sounds mamish like my friend, my old friend Elazar Reb Shimon. Aralei Breyu. That's in fact his son. He has the same voice as his father. Koryalei Pri Tzadik. The fruit of the tzaddik, Eitz Chaim, is a tree of life. That's his son. V'leikach nefashos chacham. What does it mean? Pri tzaddik Eitz Chaim, Zeh Rebbe Yosi, Rebbe Elazar, Rebbe Shimon. The grandson of Rebbe Shimon. V'leikach nefashos chacham. When you take a soul, you bring somebody off the street, you mekar of another yid. And there's a lot of different dargahs of kiruv. Kiruv doesn't just mean taking a guy that's completely irreligious. Person that doesn't learn Torah, mekar him to Torah. A person that doesn't do all the mitzvahs, mekar him. Zeh Reb Shimon ben Isi ben Lekonya. He took him. Lekeach nefashis chacham. He's a chacham. Kinoach nafshe, huh? Yeah.
He started this whole galgal.
Of, you mean?
Of bringing him back to Tshuva.
Yeah. Sadisi Anova?
He doesn't take any credit.
You're saying that it's him. I hear.
He started the whole process.
There's no question that he was an Anov. The question is the biggest Anov. There's three big Anov. Yeah. Listen. By the way.
He's the one that said it. The three biggest enough.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think the Gemara does. I don't know. The Rebbe was a big Anov. This, that. Yeah. To what? Mishemeis Rebbe. There is. Rabbeinu HaKadosh. It's a Kadosh. Kitzur. There's not a. Just to point out, I heard that Erachim, the organization R Yisroel that makes a lot Arachim, makes a lot of Bali Tshuva, They did a cheshbon, it cost them. They do Shabbos and they do Shabbatons. We know how much a Shabbaton cost. We thought we know how much it cost. It cost them 13,000 shekel to bring back one neshama. 13,000 shekel. And an MDY, we could do it for $35. When he was nifter, Rabbi Yossi, the grandson of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, they bring him to the Mara of Mamish and Yonah the Yomer Rabbi said, kiss from Hashem. They brought him to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Have a hadra law, achna l'maraso. There was a snake in front of the Ma'ara. You saw the picture yesterday. We'll show it again. L'maraso d'avo. Have a achna l'maraso. Oh, marlei achna. Huh? Yeah, but Rabbi Shimon is by Rabbi Shimon. They did bring him to Rabbi Shimon, but Rabbi Shimon yesterday came to his father. Let the son come into the father. Yesterday we had that Rabbi Shimon was the snake let them in to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Today it didn't happen. They had to bury him somewhere else. Rabbi Yisai, how many days are we before Lag B'Omer? 3 days before Lag B'Omer. So therefore, I want to show you this video. To me, it was a tremendous. It moved me greatly. Not to toot my horn. This is with all in the realm of Anava. I want to show you this beautiful video. Check this out. I think it's a kiss from Hashem. The whole thing. You can't. Why doesn't it show? No, could you have it show?
I get to walk last year Pesach. I thought of an idea that I'm going to sponsor every Reb Shimon of
so make it louder.
Of like Boimer. And I think there were 5 or 6 Reb Shimons over there. And Reb Eli announced to be each one in this chiz for Reb Shimon that my daughter should be zoche b'zeh shekayumah. B'siyata dishmaya, my first daughter had exactly 9 months later had a baby boy. And my second daughter, this past Friday, 3 days shy of like Boimer, had a baby boy. I wish to help him in this chiz van Abutz as a Torah supporting MDY. You see, it really works. I wish to help him. We should make many more simchas, all of us together, gesundheit. Have a good day.
So this is Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein right here. This happened exactly a year ago. So 3 days shy of Lag B'Omer is Lag B'Omer. That's it. And here, 3 days before Lag B'Omer, we're talking about the Ma'ara of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I think it's tremendous kiss from Hashem. And also, I didn't believe it. So I went to see the baby myself. This is the baby that was born 3 days before Lag B'Omer, a year after Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein sponsored the covered Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Huh? I'm not saying people should, but we don't have any Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochais in that daf probably. That was very unique that we had Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai on the daf 5 times. Says the Gemara, the people said, okay, because Rabbi Lezachar ben Rabbi Shimon is greater than Rabbi Yosef ben Rabbi Lezachar, than the son. Yosef Ezra, another Yosef we see in life, that when you learn Torah Betzar, like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did, and Rabbi Lezachar and Rabbi Shimon, both of them were in the cave for 13 years eating boxer and water. That is a different level of learning. You can't compare that learning, even if you're in a high level of learning, it's still not the same level as when you learn it when you're Betzar. And Betzar also, huh? No, but if you don't have to, you can drink coffee, but if you get up a little earlier and you come Betzar, that also does it. If you don't feel like coming, you come, that's Betzar. For us. Ikla Rebbe La'asir de Rebbe Tarfin. Oh, you're right. Some people, the tsar is to take a dime out of their pocket. Donate to MDY while you're learning. Ooh, that's tsar. Ooh, why is that tsar? Ikla Rebbe La'asir de Rebbe Tarfin. Rebbe went again to make another Baal Tshuva. Rebbe Tarfin used to say, a kapach is bonai. That's what he would say. If I'm wrong in this halacha, a kapach is bonai. He would like, Al tiftach pele satan. Even though he was right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took away his sons. No, he lost all his sons. Ben Bas Yeshli, he has a grandson. Again, he's an over aver. So they bring this grandson, who's a noyef. You had his bach. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. I don't know. There's no one in this room that could tell me that they would say such a statement. A guy that's a noyef. He's with every zayna in town. He says, listen, if you do tshuva, you'll marry my daughter. My daughter. Why? Because he's the grandson of Reb Tarfon. Yahav no brate. Hodarbe. He did tshuva. Iked amri nasba v'girsha. Iked amri lo nasba klal. Some say they got married and they got divorced. Some say they didn't marry at all. Why? You shouldn't say, people shouldn't say, I did tshuva to marry this woman. So he married her and divorced her. So people shouldn't say it. Why was Rebbe so insistent going to find one Baal Tshuva somewhere? Domer Rav Yudomer Rav. V'amri lo Omer Reb Chia bar Abba Omer Reb Yochanan. V'amri lo Omer Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani Omer Reb Yonasan. Chol ha-melamed es ben chaveri Torah. Zoicha v'yosher b'yeshiva shel mala. If you teach your friend's son Torah, you zoicha and sit b'yeshiva shel mala in the yeshiva up there. Shenemar. We should all take this to heart. Teach your friends Torah. Bring them to Torah. Shenemar. Yirmiyah Novi says to Klal Yisroel, Im Tashuv, if you do tshuva v'ashivcha, lefonei ta'amoy. Hashem promised me that I'll stand in front of him. If you do tshuva, please do tshuva. V'chol ha-melamed ben am ha'aretz Torah. And if you teach the son of an am ha'aretz Torah, I feel like that's me, Rabbi said right now. I'm teaching Yoel Stefansky Torah. I'm teaching a son of an am ha'aretz Torah. Baruch Hu goyz exerim avata b'shviloi. Yeah, no, it's no, you gotta work in that nova. Shenemar, koru alei, hey yono. Shenemar v'im taitzi yakom yizoylel kefisiya. If you could take out Yokar Talmud Chacham from Amaretz, kefisiya, he'll be like my mouth. So, in other words, let's go back. I feel like HaKadosh Baruch Hu goyz gzeira. Even if HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a gzeira, this Talmud Chacham mevatle b'shvila. You can be mevatle HaKadosh Baruch Hu gzeira. Why? Kefisiya. You'll be like my mouth, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. If you have 3 generations of Chachamim, Shuv and Torah, the Torah will stay forever. Shenemar v'ani zois berisi v'goymer lo yimushim pichum bizarachum bizar zaracha amar Hashem atov adilam. It happens to be that when I was young, like about 15 years old, I read the books about the Chazon Ish, the art scroll, the Perador. Very, very inspired by the book. I think it made a tremendous relation for the rest of my life. All the way he lived, the whole thing. One of the things it said there is that when he came to this thing in Uval Tzion, we say every day, he would cry. That was his tefillah. And I only realized yesterday, so like every time I say it, like I remember the Chazon Ish, and like I say b'kavana. And I realized he didn't have kids. It was more of a tefillah for kids maybe than anything else. Okay, but there's a Maisa that the Sridei Eish, Rabbi Yanki Weinberg, in a shul, he had a guy that would show up in a car on Yom Kippur to say Yizkor, and right after Yizkor he would leave. So the people in the shul said, this is back in Europe, they said, we shouldn't let this happen. Mchal Yom Kippur, on Yom Kippur coming, like, said, leave him alone. Let it be. So then the story is that the Nazis killed that person and everybody. And one of his daughters, as she was being led out to Auschwitz, she told her son, no matter what, say Yizkor for me. Because that's what her father... And because of that, so the son would come to shul on Yom Kippur and say Yizkor, and then eventually he stayed for Musaf, and he heard that this, and he became Baal Tshuva, and their grandson was a big Talmud Chacham. So that idea of what you see in the house, what you see one generation, another generation, you see the father learning Torah, and the next generation, father learning, it becomes part of you. They saw Yizkor, so it became part of them. Then you see Torah, Lo Yimushu, it doesn't leave for generations. My Omar Hashem, Omar Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ani Arev L'cha B'davar Zeh. I will be the guarantor. My Matov Adoilam, or Merim Mekan Ve'elach Torah Mechazer Zeh L'chsan Yishalah. The Torah looks for its hotel, for its the makom that it belongs. The Torah looks for you. You don't look for it. Reb Zalman of Vilna, the Reb Zalman, the Vilna Gaon's brother, Reb Zalman. He asked, if so, every single person should be learning Torah today because Avram, Yitzchok, Yaakov learned. There's 3 generations. How come? What's the? So the Chavetz Chaim said on that question. It's a good question. You might like the question more than the answer. The Chavetz Chaim said that if a person goes to a hotel every single year, and he goes to the hotel, and he shows up, and they're anti-Semitic to him, you say, "You dirty Jew, get out of here." So he's not going to go back the next year. He says, if there's a stop, you're right, goes back. We go back to the same hotel every year. But if you make a hard stop, and you say, "I'm not interested in Torah," Torah is not going to fight you for that. Then you have to start over again. You need a new hotel. Zog the Gemara, Rabbi Yosef Arbaim Tanesav Akri Leimushu Picha. He sat 40 fast, and they read to him the pasuk Leimushu Picha. You're not going to forget the Torah. Yosef Arbaim Tanesav Akrinov Akri Leimushu Picha Bizaracha. Another 40. Okay, it's not going to leave your sons. By the way, this is the Rav Yosef that forgot all his learning, and Abaye went and reminded him all his learning. Yosef Me'atani Sachrino. Some are Goyers 40. Also, 3 generations. I don't need any more fast. We were promised that the Torah is going to go back to its owner, Reb Zera, the famous Reb Zera. He sat 100 Tanesim to forget the style of learning, says Rashi. Not Chas v'Sholom, the whole Talmud Bavli. So Rashi says that in Bavel, they would ask a lot of questions, say a lot of tirusim like we had yesterday. In R Yisroel, it was like Shem, and it was very smooth. They were very calm about things. So he wanted to get rid of that natural tendency of fighting and learning. More like chill, figure it out. So he said 100 Tanesim to forget that style. It shouldn't bother him when he's there. Yosef Me'ach Renisa, another 100, the Lishkoiv, Rebbe Lezachar b'Shnei, that Rebbe Lezachar shouldn't die while he's alive. That he should be stuck with all the community things. Think about the one I know is Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Every time I went there, dozens and dozens of people all the way down the stairs, bothering for all different machlis and shidduchim, parnasa and everything. And please take a picture with the kupat ha'ir, and then take a sefer Torah this way and write this size, and then be a sandik. Yom v'layla. You can't learn. You can't do anything. Halavai, you shouldn't die in my lifetime. I should be able to learn Torah. Another 100 they shouldn't have Gehenim. Every 30 days have a badik nafshay. He would check himself to see if he would be burnt in Gehenim. Shogar tanura, you turn on the oven. Salag Yosef Gavei would sit inside the oven. And the fire didn't burn him. The Rabbanan gave him like ayin hara. He burnt his thighs. The Korolei Katan. I mean, that was his name. His name was Reb Zera. He was short, so they called him Katan. Charech Shake, with the burnt thighs. Omar Rabbi Yudom Rav Maidich Siv. Yeah, it's Pella. How do you call somebody a name? Omar Rabbi Yudom Rav Maidich Siv Miyoy Shechacham V'Yavin Ezois. Who's the person? Who's the wise person who will understand this? Vashadiber Pi Hashem Ela V'Yagid, and Hashem told him over the secret. Alma of the Aretz. Why was the land destroyed? What happened that it was destroyed? Famous Gemara. Davar Zeh Amru Chacham V'Lei Pershu. Chachamim said this positive. They couldn't be mefarish. Amru Neviim V'Lei Pershu. Actually, Pirsha HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ba'atzmi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself had explained. Shenema. V'yoyim Hashem al ozvim es Torasi asher nosati lifneihem. They left my Torah which I put in front of them. Lifneihem might be the pshat. What do you do in front of the Torah? What do you do before Torah? They didn't say Birkas HaTorah before they started learning. First of all, I know that we just recently had this Gemara somewhere, and in the Darim, and I didn't know it was in the Darim. I have a guy here from the Kail, so I'm searching on Bar Ilan. I did Shalei Birchu Torah Tchila, Shalei Birchu Torah Tchila, nothing. So I had no choice. Called up the Belzer. Nadar and Pei Aleph. I said, yeah, but I did a search on Bar Ilan. They come up. He says, no, over there it says She'ein Mevarchim B'Torah Tchila. And you looked Shaloi Baruch. That's why. Maisa Shaya from last night. So the Ran in the Darim says that even though they learned Torah Tamid, they were masmidim. They learned all day long. But from the fact that they didn't say because the Torah approved, what was the motive behind the learning? They learned it for intellectual purposes only, not because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to learn Torah. That's why. Not, I forgot to say a bracha on ice cream, poof, you're all destroyed. You didn't say a bracha on Torah, it shows what your motivation is. Some Sefer says, very interesting, and we have to try to when you give a bracha to somebody, you say you should have gesund, arichas yomim, parnosa berevach, nachas from your kids, and you should steig away. Shlei berchu b'Torah tchila. Torah comes first. When you give a guy a bracha, say you should be zoicha to do the daf every day. You should have gesund, nachas, parnosa. Shlei berchu b'Torah tchila. I want to say my own little pshat. You might not like it, but it's good for you guys. He brings that. I'm pretty sure he says it. That maybe the pshat is that when you have a day that starts off with Torah, you daven chakras and you learn the daf right in the morning, it's a different day. I'm not putting down those who Yossi writes to me at 2 a.m. because of your daf. I'm zoicha to learn out 2 a.m. after a hard day, and he did have a hard day. But it's in a doima when you learn the daf fresh and you start your day, you go to work. First thing in the day, in the morning, you go and you learn the daf if you can on the way to work.
That's how Yossi starts his day at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Oh. Turning the daf spots by again in the bigger cup consulting and Chani and Paul Schuster with that car official Simcha and their time if we bring your belly MDY and Daf Yomi into our lives. Of course, I had to say the pshat yesterday with the Israelis and I got booed because they're there at 9 o'clock at night. I'm not kidding. They were not happy. In a heart of a person that understands, the chachma will rest uve kerev ksilim, and in the innards of a simple person, tivadeya, it will be known. It's different when you have a Talmud Chacham, the son of Talmud Chacham. Uve kerev ksilim tivadeya, the Talmud Chacham ben Amoret. If you're Talmud Chacham, the son of Amoret. Who has the pushka over there? Pick up the pushka. Who's that? Ashi? Okay, here. Ashi, give it a good shake now. When you have a little coin in a pushka, it makes a lot of noise. Fill it up to the top. It doesn't make any noise at all. When you're the son of Amoritz, people say, wow, this guy, Galadar, who's his father? Some Amoritz, some Aritz. If you're the son of a Talmud Chacham, okay, no. Shem Gamliel, the son of this, Rebbe, okay, it's Pashat. What do you expect from the son of Hillel? Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said a beautiful thing. He said, why is it that a lot of Talmidei Chachamim have kids that are mamish nothings? And you have Amaratzim that the Zoicha such heilige tzaddikim. And he says, you know why? Maybe. It's because when a person is a Talmid Chacham, sometimes he knocks other Talmidei Chachamim. He says, doesn't come close to my toes. He's thinking in his head, he goes like this, the guy. But Amaretz, he has the chilu from Talmidei Chacham. The Rebbe said this, the Rav said that. Let's go see the Rashiva. Let's take a picture with this guy. That kind of admiration and achna and enthusiasm to the Chacham causes that the kid wants to be like that. So we could take that also, even if you're Talmid Chacham, treat other. Omer Rabbi Yitzchok is there. The small one, the large one will be in the caver. Will be a slave that's free from his master. Everybody ends up in the grave, unfortunately. That's how life is. If you make yourself small for Torah in this world, what does it mean make yourself small? Go to someone, learn Torah from somebody that's smaller than you. If that's what it takes to learn Torah, you do it. You make yourself like a slave. I like what the Maral says. He says that if you're mishabed yourself, your guf and your nefesh, both to Torah, then that's it. It's all. Then you win. What does it mean? Your nefesh, you make yourself small. You go to somebody that's not as big as you in Torah, and you learn from him. So now you're putting down your nefesh. Putting down your guf means less sleep for Torah, getting up a little earlier in the morning, not eating as much. Then you suppress your body also. So it's body and soul for Torah. Then you become free in the world to come. Rish Lakish have a mitzayin marsa the Rabbanon, like you go to Tzfat, you see the Rizal or whoever it was put there the markers, the blue. Here's a caver. The grave of Rebchia disappeared. Cholash daite. He became disheartened. He a little depressed. Not depressed, not the right word. Rabbi said this is a sugi about Rebchia. So just to remind the Olam, who's Rebchia? Rebchia, together with Rishaya, wrote the Brises, the Sefta, the main Brises. Something that a lot of people don't know is that Rebchia wrote the Zohar. The Zohar. Who said that? Who screamed out Zohar? Why maybe? Yeah, a little bit. So, It's hard. I'm working my midas way. I'm working. So there's also a famous Gemara that when the Malchamavis came to take Reb Chia's neshama, lo yochale, he couldn't. So then he said, okay, could I have some bread? So Reb Chia gave the Malchamavis bread. He says, okay, so now can I have my neshama? And that whole story, like, what shaykh is? I gave you bread, but why should I give you my neshama? He was not a simple person, a very, very high madrega person. So it says, he couldn't find his grave and he was very discouraged. So he says, Omar, this is Rish Lakish talking. Rebbeinu Shloim, like Pipalti Torah Kamoisai, I didn't learn Torah like him. Yosef Ezra Varmaloi, Torah Kamoisai Pipalti, of course you did. Torah Kamoisai Leribatsta, but you were a marbitz Torah like him. Have a minzu Reb Chanina Reb Chia. When they would have a fight, Reb Chanina and Reb Chia in Torah, or Reb Chanina and Reb Chia would say, "Bahadei di kaminzis, you're fighting with me, sir. You know who I am." Reb Chanina tells him, if all of the svarim and everything was destroyed, I could bring it right back with my own svara. So Reb Chia tells him back, you're fighting with me. I did something that Torah forget about. Even if everything was burned, it's not going to be forgotten. This to me is one of the most powerful stories in Shas. There's a tremendous amount you can learn here. And we have pictures for this, just to be mamchish. I told Yosha, I love this so much. Please do something a little bit. Reb Chia, instead of buying the svarim ready-made and teaching kids Torah, he decided he's going to plant the flax to make the net. To make the net. You hear what's going on here? To weave the string and to do all the malachas. The lametes malachas, however many malachas it is. To catch the deer, to shech the deer, to clean the deer, to make leather out of it, to write the Sefer Torah, to write Shisha Sidri Mishnah. I don't know how many years that takes to write Shisha Sidri Mishnah on a klaf, and to make it, and then to give it over. Not just to buy it in the Svarim store. I'm hiring a sefer, because if you do it like that and it's pure, should be pure. There's no tumah, no goy touched it, no person, nobody's involved. Just me, Reb Chia, doing it. Then it's on a whole different level. The Torah won't be forgotten. It's unbelievable. That's what the Vilna Gaon says, that if you build a shul with a shovel and the hammer made by a yid, and Jewish workers and this and that, it's a shul that can never be destroyed. I mean, I don't know how to take it to our life, but again, purity, just being pure. Says the Gemara, I planted the flax. And I made the nets. And I caught the deer. This is another point that he says. I took the meat, and what did I do with the meat? Chesed. I gave it to the nebachs, the Yisoimim. So it was Torah with Chesed. And I wrote 5 chumashim. And I taught 5 children, each one a chumash. And I took 6 children and I taught them Shita, Sidrei, 6, each one a Seder Mishnais. And I told them, and I commanded them, until I come back, you should teach each other the Torah, like the Shtakach Yisrael. I'm creating a situation where Torah won't be forgotten. Who knows today why we have Torah and whose chus it is? But he went through all those steps. So every step you do for Torah is to better the Torah. And that's why Rebbe said, look how great the maisim of Chia are, his actions. What is he greater than you? If you want to make it on a practical level, Rabbi Yosef Ezra went to the Chavetz Chaim with his wife because she was complaining that he was fasting too much. And the Chavetz Chaim said he could continue fasting. So he explained, Rabbi Herman explained, because I teach children, and the vessel that teaches the children should be pure. So it's one of these ideas of when you're making it, when you're doing it, it should be pure. And when it's pure, it comes from a pure place, it lasts. So Rabbi Shmuel asked Rebbe, he's greater than you? Omar Le'in, yes. Afilu ma'aba. It seems like if Rebbe felt that he was greater, he'd tell him straight out. You see that in the Gemara. That's not gaiva. You have to know. The Talmud has to know. Afilu ma'aba, is Reb Chia greater than my own father, Reb Yossi? Omar Le'in, chas v'shalom. Don't even say such words. Omar Reb Zera, Emish Nir Reb Yossi, Reb Chanina. Reb Yossi came to me in the dream. Where are you placed in Gan Eden? I'm sitting next to Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan to me. And over here, if you remember this Gemara, you can see for the rest of the Shas who's great, who's not great. I mean, they're all great. Who's greater than the other one? We don't measure G'daylam. Over here is measurements of G'daylam. Rabbi Yochanan to me, and who does he sit? It's Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai to me, and who does Rabbi Yanai sit next to? It's Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina is great. Rabbi Chanina to me, it's Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia is all the way in the top. Rabbi Yochanan is all the way in the bottom. Amati loy, Rabbi Yochanan, it's Rabbi Chia loy. What? Rabbi Yochanan can't go there? Amarli ba'atar, these kukim denura, when there's lightning bolts, uba'ur in the esha, there's torches of fire. Man mayil bar napcha, which is Rabbi Yochanan on the Tamon. Who's going to bring Rabbi Yochanan over here? Okay. Rabbi Chaviva ishtali Rabbi Chaviva bar surmaki chazili ahum rabbanon avshchiach le'el. I saw this Talmid Chacham that Aliyah Novi would come visit him. The Tzafro, I noticed in the morning, Avshapirei, and his eyes were perfect. Ulurta, when he came back at night, Damin the Mikalion benura, they got scorched in the fire. Amrilei, my high, what happened to you? How did you get burnt? I told Aliyah Novi, Achvili Rabbanon, could you please show me the Rabbanon ki salkilim mitifta de Rikia? I don't understand anything over here. Just it seems like every day I have to look into this. It looks like we learned yesterday they all had their mansions. Each one had a mansion. A little later, Avram Avinu sleeping, waking up, Negovasser. So it seems like they would go home and then come back to yeshiva. It wasn't like 24/7 in the same yeshiva. I don't know what that means. I'll allow you to look at everybody. You cannot look at the throne of Rabbi Chia. No, Rabbi Isai, if somebody tells you don't look, what do you do? Okay, I don't want to look. How will I know it's his throne? You need malachim to lift you up on this giant throne and bring you back down to. We understand what it means to take somebody up, the physical, take him up, put him down. Besides the throne of Rabbi Chia, the Menafshei Sol, he knows how to get up and down all on his own. L'chayra, I think it's the Ben Yehoyada says, if he doesn't, so I'll say it, that Rabbi Chia did everything by himself. He was very independent. I'm making my own linen, my own string, my own nets, my own this. Okay, so now you're so independent, you get up and down the throne by yourself. So I couldn't, I couldn't control myself. I needed to see him. I looked at him. The blind, two things of fire came, blind. The next day, which is today, I guess, when he's talking, because he said yesterday, no? He came and he went to the cave, to Reb Chia. Amino, and I said to him, I learned your Tosefta. Bitasi, and he was healed. Says the Gemara, Aliyah the Rebbe. Aliyah would come to the yeshiva of Rebbe. Yom Echad Reish Yarchav was Rish Chodesh. Nogalei, he was late, v'leosa, and he didn't show up. Omar lei, so Rebbe tells him, "No, where's your late note? Like, what do you think we come to yeshiva late? What is this? My time in Nogalei Lamar. How come Aliyah Novi came late? Omar lei, Avram, until I woke up Avram Avinu. Again, what does it mean? They sleep in Olam Haba. They need alarm clocks. And have to wash his hands. We wash negavasa because maybe he touched Mekomis Hamitunafim. And if you sleep, maybe there's a Ruach Tuma. Machlokes Rishonim. Why? And up there, there's this Tuma, there's the Mekomis Hamitunafim. Yeah, you have to wash his hands. Umatzli, and he has to daven. Elikei, what is he going to say? Yitzchok, Avram. Okay, Umatzli, Umagninalei. I have to put him back to sleep. V'chein liYitzchok v'chein liYaakov. Ask the Gemara, let them all three get up at the same time. Why do you have to wake up and then come to yeshiva on time? And I guess because it's Rosh Chodesh, maybe that's the pshat. Rosh Chodesh, the longer davening, there's Hallel, there's Musaf. Well, that's what it says. He came every day on time. Punkt this day, he wasn't on time. So, if all three, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, came daven together, Mashiach would come early. Anybody? Rebbe asks, is there anybody alive like this that could daven like that? So he told him a great secret. If Rabbi Chia and his sons daven together, Mashiach will come. Okay, he puts it in his head. Gozer Rebbe Tanisa. So Rebbe made his gozer Tainus. So Rebbe said, okay, now you daven. We're going to bring Mashiach early. Omar Mashav Ruach. Rebbe Chia said, Mashav Ruach, when Shabbazika, and a wind came. Omar Meir da Geshem. He said, Geshem v'asimitra. Rain. When he wanted to say Mechayim, Roga Shalom, the whole world shook. Amri Rekia, Mangoli Razi Dalma. Baum. Who's told him the secret? Amri Eliyahu. It's Eliyahu Navi. Asiu Eliyahu machiu shitim pulsi denura. They hit him. Hit Eliyahu Navi. 60 lashes of fire. Also, he came. Idmilu kedoi b'denura, kedu b'denura. Here we have a picture even. The Navi came like a fiery beer. Now I want to tell you something real quickly. They said, Mashiv ruach u'morid hageshem. You're talking about a split second from here to there. In that split second, who's the one that told him the secret? Eliyahu Navi. 60. Eliyahu Navi becomes a beer, jumps in there, because there is no time in Shemaim. It's all relative. It's not. Oh no, we have rice from the Gemara. It wasn't like that. Rabbi Kiva down. It's not. There's only a certain amount of time in the day. Something like this takes, and also to come down from Shemaim, you have to travel. No, it's not millisecond. And finally says the Gemara, Ol Benayu, so the beer went between them, the fiery beer, Tardino, and they got confused over there, and they stopped it. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.